clip represented only about 20 seconds of real-time footage. It was enough. Grant had found all that we needed to prove that SHM was a hokum made-up BS disease to cover up something else happening. Despite what you're thinking,
I stood behind you.
Like a victory.
I stood behind you.
I've never felt worse about being proved right.
Don't. You're gonna rage.
Something else was so far outside the realm of my explanation that trying to understand what I was watching literally gave me a migraine. All I remember thinking when the clip finished was that I'd give anything to wake up in a reality where I had been wrong. Once more, I was watching Doug standing over his mom in his kitchen. He was moving at super slow speeds, as to be expected. But she wasn't. She was still shaking, but it was
Leave
shaking
one alive.
now,
We need to kill this kid.
not blur-inducing vibrations. Her speed was still faster than it should have been, but thanks to Grant's editing, we could see what she actually was doing down there. She was writhing, kicking, flexing every joint in her body with jolting spasms that bent them into contortionist-like angles. To my disgust, I realized that what I had thought was the natural crack and pop of slowed audio was actually the snapping and crunching of bones and cartilage. More than once, she had twisted into a position that showed more than just her ankles. We saw her legs, saw the flesh on them shrink away in a matter of seconds. We would catch glimpses of her hands, of the skin around her digits, vacuum sealing the bones so tightly that fingernails splintered and cracked. Only once did we see her face, and it was one time too many. She spasmed forward, folding inward without warning until her temples touched her toes. Her eyes were burning. Bright green flames poured from her sockets, the black orbs at their center bubbling and sputtering with intense heat. The skin on her face was pulled so tight that pulsing veins around her eyes seemed to dance and writhe above the skin. She was screaming too, screaming with such force that the windpipe in her shrinking neck bulged.
Don't follow.
Her
Back.
nostrils bled. Her
Back
jaw
us.
was open long past that point that it should have been dislocated. That's when I realized what the weird audio spike had been, when I had seen the footage months earlier, when it was live and at normal speed. It was Doug's mom's screams, sped up so fast they sounded like microphone feedback. With the footage slowed down, it was clearly audible. Garbled and distorted, sure, but there was no mistaking the stretched, tinny shrieks cascading from the laptop speaker. It wasn't a scream of fear, but of pain. Unrestrained, unreserved agony. It was when Doug started to bend over in super slow motion that my stomach had dropped. I remembered his fingers, the power sander sound that reminded me of Freddy Gruber's elbow in 6th grade. With the footage slowed, Doug's attempts to save his mother sounded nothing like a power sander. It sounded like lightning.
You're coming.
The moment the tips of his fingers were within 6 or so inches of the top of her head, there was an almighty crack. A booming thunder so loud that the speakers screamed for a few seconds before falling silent. Twin streams of emerald flame leaped from Doug's mom's boiling, hissing eyes the moment the hardware-killing noise hit.
He ejected items.
The green fire wrapped around Doug's slow-motion fingers. The moment they made contact, the flesh of his digits curled and split, falling away in fluttering shreds that cascaded back towards his mom's black hole eyes. Within a few seconds, there was nothing left but bone, and below long that too was lost in the bubbling voids. Doug had pulled his hand away quickly, so I knew he didn't lose more than a few fingers, but still. The tension caused by watching him from our slow perspective, holding his hand in that acid-like green burning, had me grinding my teeth so hard that I lost the feeling. The relief I felt when he finally pulled his hand away was short-lived, however. The worst of Grant's discovery was yet to come. That's the moment that they arrived. I can't describe them to you because I've not actually seen them, and neither has Grant. That's the thing though, you can't. The way you can't see them though, that I can describe really clear, even though thinking about it too long makes me so queasy that I nearly puke. I didn't notice them at first. They started small, 3 clusters of fuzzy darkness hovering at Doug's feet. Within a